Yo, bam, bam, thank you, man. Doing a Ryzen 5 today. Today we're building another Ryzen 5 system. This time it's the 1400, which I believe is clocked somewhere around 3.2 gigahertz at base and 3.4 gigahertz at precision boost with 4 cores and 8 threads. This, however, is the Ryzen 5 budget build system. All this here I got for under $600, which is going to make it a really solid performing workstation kind of platform with not too much of a heavy load, but since it's got an AM4 motherboard, albeit it's an A320M, so there's no room really for overclocking, but sufficient enough if you did want to eventually stick a 1500 or 1600X in there, or even a Ryzen 7, any variant of that would be just fine in this motherboard. This particular machine is being built for a client, Prime Performance in Stanhope, New Jersey. So if you're into cars or just like cool things, make sure you check out primedriven.com. A link will be in the description below. They give out really cool cars all the time, MR2s. They recently gave away an FRS or MR2. Whoever won that one, great job to you guys, that's awesome. Plus, you can get that or $10,000 in cash usually. So check them out. Jumping right back into the PC, we went with, as I mentioned before, Asus Prime Performance of course, A320M, which is a small motherboard, fits perfectly in a micro ATX form factor, or here we have an ATX mid-tower, and it supports AM4, as you'd imagine, with the Ryzen 5 system. This can be had for somewhere around $70, making it a really good buy for potential upgrades if you want to put something better in there, as mentioned before. Next we went with an EVGA 500 watt power supply, not 80 plus gold, bronze, or anything like that, but just your standard 80 plus, so it's a good piece of hardware, one place you really don't want to skimp out, especially when you get these cheaper cases that sometimes come with power supplies. Skimping out on the power supply is never really a good idea. Most of the times that I've gone with built-in power supplies and cases from not really well-known manufacturers, you tend to get some failures, as I've seen, and when you're working with a productivity machine for a business, that's not something you really want. And since the customer already has an external hard drive, storage space isn't an issue, so we're going with an ADATA M.2 128 gig SSD, and these things, I really love these little SSDs. They are really fast, not quite NVMe SSD speeds, but fast enough for your day-to-day, jumping in Excel and doing a Photoshop job here and there type of workload. Absolutely will run that just fine. Next up is this Viper RAM, which is a company I haven't used before but I've seen good reviews about. It's just a standard DDR4 2400 megahertz system, 8 gigs of RAM, 2x4, and should be plenty fine for this system build. And of course, as I mentioned before, the Ryzen 5 1400, which I believe is to be had for under $200 now, somewhere probably around $160 is a good price point at the time of this shooting, which is December 23rd, so Christmas right around the corner. And it comes with a cooler, which would be great for this build, RX 550. I know what you're thinking, why didn't you go with a 1050 or 1050 Ti? Well, this was had for under $100, and for the workload that the customer is going to be doing, isn't really going to be GPU intensive. They're not going to be mining cryptocurrencies to my knowledge, and they're not going to really be doing any type of heavy video editing, maybe some video editing here and there, and that's also, especially if you're going to be using Adobe Premiere or something, that's when this guy's going to kick in a little bit more than this. The OpenCL playback acceleration will work very well with just the RX 550. Plus for Photoshop jobs and the occasional free seller solitaire game, why not? Under $100. So why don't we get right into building this thing.
I can't see, I'm in the dark, surrounded by sharks, be cloud over me. I can't see, I'm in the dark, surrounded by sharks, be cloud over me. Now the sky is falling down, 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 down on me. Down, 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 down on me.
So there you have it, the Ryzen 5 system for under 600 bucks. Now this is the first time I've ever worked with an Apevia case, and I've got to say for a $57-ish or $58 case, it's actually not that bad. There's a couple little things that they could have done better in terms of the basement. You definitely, I don't think, could fit a full-size power supply in there. If you're going to go for something more than like 500 watts, you might want to consider a different case where you're going to probably have to take out the hard drive trays in the bottom, which you can't see from this side, but from the back, you've got these trays that are kind of in the way of any type of wiring that you want to do. But I do like how there's a full-size basement cover. That's nice. It hides everything, so you don't have to worry about your cable management too much. Now for the green LED fans, through the acrylic, I don't really like how it looks. It looks pretty tacky, and the lines on the acrylic kind of really accentuate the blurriness inside there. It doesn't look all that stunning, so maybe that's something I might change out for the customer in the future, or if they like it, then more power to them. But in terms of ease to build in, this was incredibly easy to build in. I think if I wasn't filming it, it probably would have taken me maybe 15 minutes to complete the whole build, so that's not that bad, all things considered. Alright, now let's run down the pricing real quick. Case, as I mentioned before, is $58. Get it on Amazon, link in the description below if you do want this type of case. This micro ATX motherboard, the Asus Prime with the A320M chipset, is also right now going for about $75 on Amazon. This specific RAM kit that I've got right here is on Amazon right now for $102, which I believe went up a little bit in price since I got it. I think I bought it at $99. But as with any RAM, it's going to fluctuate in price depending on the market and availability as always. This pretty fast M.2 SSD is running right now about $50, which isn't too bad for a 128 gig SSD with pretty good read-write speeds. That's almost what you're going to get for your standard SATA SSD at this time. A really good deal is this EVGA 500 watt power supply, which I got for $34. It's now, I think, around $37, $38 on Amazon, which is still a really good deal for a name brand power supply, which has reliability that you're going to want from a PSU. And the RX 550 right now runs for about $99 on Amazon, which is, it's going to be a nice little graphics card to run your day-to-day operations if you're going to do Photoshop and light video editing, and maybe if you do want to throw in a game there too. You might not be able to run 1080p games on your highest settings with this GPU, but you can still game on it for sure. And last but not least, the Ryzen 5 1400, which is going to run you right now about $155 from Amazon. I'm not going to benchmark this PC because it's a customer's PC, and like I said, it's only really for productivity, not for gaming, so there's really no point in seeing just what we could do, especially on a non-overclockable motherboard with the Ryzen 5 1400. However, if you are into overclocking and benchmarking, you're going to want to see a build that I did with the Ryzen 7 1700X that I've got overclocked to 3.9 gigahertz, running stable on a nice AIO. That video will be released sometime shortly after this one. As always, thanks for watching. Tell me if you like this type of stuff, if you want more tech on my channel, or if you want me just to go back to motorcycles or crazy DIYs or those stupid ravioli videos, which are fun, but yeah, you know. So make sure to subscribe, hit the like button if it was good, thumbs down if you didn't like it, share it with a friend maybe, and check out some of the links below in the description here. And as always, keep it foul.